guys, Brad here, and today I'll be playing some Blood Bowl, because, you know, it's a game which I just bought off Steam. It was on sale. I think it went off sale today anyway, January the 2nd. And, you know, thought it would be a pretty good game to play. I'll just be doing the tutorial, and if it's successful and you want more, then, well, I'll do some more gameplay of Blood Bowl. But anyway, I'll let you listen to the tutorial then.
Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to the Blood Bowl for tonight's contest. You join a capacity crowd packed with members of every race from across the known world, all howling like banshees in anticipation of tonight's game. Oh, and yes, there are some actual banshees. Well, kickoff is in about 20 minutes' time, so we've just got time to recap the rules of the game before the battle starts. Your match commentators for tonight are Jim and myself, Bob Bifford. Evening, Jim.
Thank you, Bob. Well, good evening, and boy, are you folks in for a great night of top-class sporting entertainment. But first of all, for those at home who are unfamiliar with the rules, here's how the game is transmitted to the folks at home and, of course, played.
Anyway, just to recap on this game is like Warhammer, just the ordinary Warhammer, but this also actually like takes, you know, it's like a turn-based strategy game, like a proper Warhammer board game. But you know, this is like Blood Bowl, the Chaos Edition. But this one has many more, including Amazon and other people like that. I don't know all of them, but you know, well, basically at the moment we got the ordinary humans and the orcs, a standard Warhammer kind of format.
Let me explain that, Jim. As any Blood Bowl fan knows, each Blood Bowl match is transmitted out to thousands of Blood Bowl fans with the device Campaign for Real Arcanery, the camera that was developed by the Guilds of Magic. A bound spirit in a box is allowed to look out in one direction only at the Blood Bowl field, and his mental image is then transmitted by teams of magicians using the spell Cablevision.
And nowadays, we've got a lot of cameras, Bob. Since transmitting Blood Bowl matches became a huge success, a lot more broadcasting guilds emerged on the market, such as NBC,
Necromancer's Broadcasting Circle,
Channel 7, the CBS,
Crystal Ball Service,
to name a few. But since ABC...
Association of Broadcasting Conjurers.
Yes, thank you, Bob. Since the ABC won the franchise in 2486, when it was renewed for the 30th time, they have exclusive broadcasting rights nowadays.
30th time. Okay, changing camera views.
Ah, that's too true, Jim. But let's explain for the folks at home what Blood Bowl, the game, really is. Blood Bowl is an epic conflict between two teams of heavily armored and quite insane warriors. Players pass, throw, or run with the ball, attempting to get it to the other end of the pitch, the end zone. Of course, the other team must try to stop them and recover the ball for their side. If a team gets the ball over the line into the opponent's end zone, it's called a touchdown. The team that scores the most touchdowns by the end of the match wins the game and are declared Blood Bowl champions. How do they do it?
It's like this, Bob. Two teams set up 11 players on the pitch. 11 is the sacred number of Nuffle, as any hardcore Blood Bowl fan would know. Today we're going to watch the Gouged Eye against the Reichland Reavers. This is yet another grudge match between the two teams.
And it seems the teams are entering the pitch now. Shall we get started, Jim? The coin is flipped high in the air, and the brave goblin referee announced that the Reichland Reavers will be receiving this half.
Right, let's get started. As any coach will tell you, Bob, a team's starting formation is vitally important. Here we can see an example of the Gouged Eye famous 5-4-2, or Deep Defense Formation. This formation is used by the Eye against fast-moving or agile teams like Skaven or Elves. Some would argue with limited success.
You said it, Jim. Notice how the Gouged Eye has made sure that there are no gaps in their line for opposing players to run through. Every square is covered by an orc player or one of his tackle zones.
Okay, the tackle zones. Gee, that...
That's absolutely right, Bob. Each square around a player is a tackle zone. And it looks like, as an added insurance, the Orcs have kept 2 players back deep, close to their own end zone, so they can catch any enemy players lucky enough to dodge their way through the Orc front line.
Jim, let's not forget that a team can only field 2 players in each wide zone, and they always have to field a minimum of 3 players on the halfway line, which coaches refer to as the line of scrimmage.
So it's American football, but, you know, in a game, Warhammer game, really.
Okay, Bob, it seems like Reichland Reavers have set up their offensive lineup and that the Gouged Eye are ready to kick the ball.
It sure does, Jim. When both teams have finished their setup, the coach of the kicking team places the ball in any square in the opponent's half of the pitch.
That's right, Bob. He can even place it in their end zone if he likes. After placing the ball, it will scatter in random direction, though, only up to a maximum of 7 squares in any of the 8 possible directions.
Okay, 8 possible directions.
Those kicks are sure inaccurate, Jim. That's why coaches sometimes prefer to field a player with the kick skill, since it will cut the number of possible squares the ball will scatter by half. But more on those skills later.
That's right, Bob. The kick skill sure is useful, because if the ball bounces off the pitch or into the kicking team's half, the receiving team is awarded a touchback and can give the ball to any player in their team. There goes the little referee with his bone whistle. It's time to rumble!
Hey. Okay, the ball has been kicked.
And look at that kick, Jim. What a perfect kick by Truck Elf Splitter. But what's up with the fans, Jim?
As you know, Bob, all kinds of things can happen during a Blood Bowl match. A team may make an inspired play, or raucous fans might throw a rock at one of the opposing team's players, or even invade the pitch.
That'd be pretty cool.
Coaches refer to them as kick-off events. There are lots of different outcomes. In this case, the cheering fans seem to have gone wild with anticipation.
Right, Jim. Keep an eye on those fans. It seems Reichland Reavers got inspired by their fans cheering and got an extra re-roll in this half. No doubt their cheerleaders got the crowd going. Equally important is their assistant coaches and fame, fan factor, during the kickoff events.
And that extra team re-roll sure is handy for the Reavers, Bob. It allows them to re-roll 1 dice roll per turn during a half. Re-rolls are very important in Blood Bowl.
The re-rolls
It
seem
sure
easy.
is useful, Jim. So let's continue with the match, shall we? It seems like the Reichland Reavers thrower, Fat Midbroat, is getting...
Oh, take a look at that, Bob. He almost failed to pick up the ball. Luckily enough for the Reavers.
True, Jim. Sure
failed
hands
to pick up the
does come
ball?
in handy at times. Maybe we should mention that the agility table is used for more than just pickups, Jim. It is also used to work out the success or failure of a number of different actions in Blood Bowl, including dodging, picking up the ball, and throwing a...
That's right, Bob. This all
Wow.
might sound complicated,
So I always
but
have a
it's
chance to
really
fail?
easy to understand it all after a few games. For those that wish to broaden their wisdom...
You said it, Jim. But look at that. He's not done. He's about to throw a short pass to Griff Oberwald.
Is that Griff? Yeah, over. Come on.
That's a risky play so early in the turn, Bob. Usually, coaches try to perform the easier actions first during their turn, because if anyone fails an action, it's the end of their turn. In this case, it's fairly safe, since Fat Midbrot also has the pass skill, which allows him to re-roll a failed result.
Okay then, so it's mostly dice and luck.
Still a risky play, Jim, since the thrower has agility of 3, which means that he must roll a 4 or more to be on target. No modifiers apply to the D6 roll because he is not in any tackle zones, and the modifier for short pass is +0.
So, oh yeah, got it, Griff Oberwald. Oh, damn Facebook.
And he rolls a 4 and makes it. And Griff Oberwald reaches for the ball and rolls a 2. He catches the ball. What an amazing play so early in the game, Bob. For those that wish to view the agility table for passing the ball and catching the ball, we refer yet again to the Blood Bowl rulebook.
Sure is amazing, Jim. Regarding actions, such as passing, handoffs, and blitz moves, these actions can only be performed by 1 player per turn. However, it can be any player that attempts these actions. so don't worry about the names of the player positions. They just help illustrate that blitzers are just better at blitzing, throwers are just better at passing the ball, and catchers are just better at catching the ball. Now back to the action on the pitch. The Reavers are trying to punch a hole in the Gouged Eyes' defense. Look at that, Jim. Zug, their ogre, prepares to smash the Gouged Eyes' black orc on the scrimmage line. Rip Sorpain.
They better stay clear of that big guy, Bob. He has a strength value of 5, and in this case, he is blocking the black orc, Rip Sorpain, who only has a strength of 4. Since the ogre has more strength than his opponent, it means he can roll 2 block dice and choose which one to use. For you folks at home, you can check the player's strengths roll table for further information concerning what effects a player's strength have when blocking.
And look at that, Jim. He rolls defender down, and the defender stumbles. He uses the defender down result to push Rip Sorpain back a square and knock him flat on his back in the mud. And whenever a player hits the ground, you make an armor roll to see if his armor protects him from injury.
Lucky for that black orc, he's got some heavy armor on him, Bob. Oh, wait. It looks like Zug managed to break the black orc's armor and has caused a knockout result on the injury roll. That's because Zug has the extremely powerful Mighty Blow skill, which adds +1 to your armor roll. The Reavers fans go wild after...
And brutality on the pitch? We like that, Jim.
Not so fast, Bob. He still needs to make a dodge roll to bypass the Gouged Eyes' solid defense.
That makes a bit of sense. I hope I remember this for when I'm actually going to do my proper play season on this.
That's right, Jim. And while he squeezes through the defense, he rolls a 3 and successfully dodges through. Since he needs to roll a 3 or more, with an agility value of 3, he requires a roll of 4 or more to be successful. But
too right. But look, it looks like Griff Oberwald will dodge through and make a go for...
That's all true, Jim. While all players can go for it 2 additional squares of movement, they need to roll a d6 to see if they can make it. On a 1, they will fall flat on the ground in the square where they failed, and therefore must make an armor roll, and it will cause a team turnover.
Of course, it's going to be less lucky in the actual game.
Some high-quality play there, Bob. Griff Oberwald dodges through and goes for it to the catcher, and Jean-Paul Moussend successfully catches the handoff. Now, a handoff is always considered as an accurate pass, so the receiving player simply needs to pass an agility roll. Our catcher, with an agility of 3, therefore catches the ball on a roll of 3.
That's all nice, Jim, but I want to see more action on the pitch. And here we go. It looks like the human blitzer.
That's right, Bob. Once per turn, a player on the moving team is allowed to make a special blitz move. A blitz allows the player to move and make a block. The block may be made at any point during the move, but costs...
That's one tough blitzer, Jim.
Indeed, Bob. The player may carry on moving after the effects of the block have been worked out, if he has any squares of movement left. It seems like he is moving up next to the
But look, Jim, what is Peter Von Gullet trying to do? It looks like he'll fall over and cause a turnover. Normally, a turn only ends when all the players in the team have performed an action. However, certain events cause the turn to end before all the players have taken an action.
Turnover! Not even the team reroll helped them there, Bob. This doesn't look good for the Reavers, since Jean-Paul Moussend is wide open for a blitz. The Orcs...
Did you see that, Jim? Since Krug Painspear has the tackle skill, Jean-Paul Moussend is knocked down with a defender stumbles, even though he has the dodge skill, which would normally allow him to regard that as a simple pushback. What a blitz! That looks like a spleen gone awry. Brutal and bloody just the way we like it. And the Gouged Eye fans go wild!
That's assuming the Apothecary can mend him, Bob. The Apothecary allows a re-roll of any injury, and you could choose the new result. And now the Bob, I'm not so sure about that. He might be a good thrower when it comes to throwing it downfield, but it looks like Cannonball Benny is about to attempt a risky pass to Varag Gaulchua, and Griff Oberwald is in a great position to make an interception attempt. Can't he see him?
Come on, Griff Oberwald. Oh, yeah.
That's right, Jim. The crowd holds its breath as Griff leaps to intercept the pass. He needs an agility roll of 3 or more. However, a player making an interception attempt...
And there goes Griff Oberwald, sprinting down the field to score Reichland Reavers' first touchdown. And listen to those fans, Bob, howling like banshees and rabid wolves.
Oh, touchdown.
What a touchdown, Jim!
Got a
Did you see
touchdown.
that? Amazing! But the game is far from over.
But
This is
this-
just warming
oh,
up.
imagine this
6
in real
turns
game,
remain
man.
of the
In real
first half,
game, I'll probably
and then
fail
we got a
the
full
race.
second half
So
with 8
just
more
look forward
turns
to
before this
raging.
game is
If
over.
you want this kind of series, go for a career. Go for a career of Blood Bowl, and I'll be uploading one every week. That's if the views turn out good. And also if I'm not doing any revisions, I still do some GCSE things. And yeah, this will probably be the end because of the reason that it's the tutorial end.
Oh boy, Bob, this will be interesting.
Yeah.
May Nuffle always bless his dice.
Alright then. Now that was my first episode of Blood Bowl, so when this is aired, you shall see that, you know, that you can. I'll be willing to, you know, play against anyone if they want to. First I suck, and see ya.